Do I have time to go to the restroom? Good evening, race fans. Welcome to the 2021 Clash for the Transervice Cup Series here at Daytona. Tonight, we're going to be sitting in here watching, 23 drivers, I believe, battle for $25 in cash for the winner. Sitting with me in the booth tonight is Kevin England. Down in the production van's going to be Joey Jatina. And kind of popping his head in here and giving us heads up on teamwork and whatnot will be Jason Barham.
Yeah, John, this is it. We have the fresh scent of a new season. We've been anticipating the season start, and tonight's the icebreaker that starts off the journey of the Transervice Cup Series. It's going to take us across the United States every week all the way into the fall, and tonight's event is what we'll call the Clash. Everybody out there running practice, getting ready for the event, and as you said, 23 drivers going to make the call tonight with E.J. O'Rourke starting on the pole.
That's right. E.J. O'Rourke's on the inside pole there. Brian Macklin to his outside. Donnie Leah brings it in third. Kyle Trask is fourth. Mike Kelly's fifth. Nelson Rivera sixth. Kevin Brown seventh. Adam Gilliland eighth. Scott Stenzel ninth. Rounding out your top 10 is the 43 car of Doug Roth.
Josh Parker goes off in 11th. 12th is Chad Coleman. Richard Beasley in the number 10 will start 13th outside the 7th row. 14th starting spot for the 5 of Trey Edson. Gail Brooks starts 15th. 16th is the 51 of Justin Fuller. Glenn Campbell, Transervice driver, 17th on the starting grid tonight for the 44. 17 of Chad Cole starts in 18th. 19th is Jose Gonzalez in the familiar 26. And on his outside, a Jersey guy, Anthony DeBarro in the number 27.
So fellow Jersey guy. All right, got Nick Note Cohan and Tommy Ryan, 21st and 22nd respectively. They round out the drivers that are going to be starting tonight. 22 drivers, all battling for basically, Kevin, one prize, $25 cash to the winner. Hey, it's not the $500,000 that the real life guys do, but to these guys, that's a lot. That could be a track or a car they've been looking at eyeballing and picking up on the service or anything. Heck, it could be even a 12-pack of beer.
Yeah, 40 laps is the distance here tonight, and I love the new shiny paint schemes that we get to see. And somebody's looking for the bragging rights to say, I won the opener of the season. They want to go into the Daytona race coming up here strong, and we are getting ready. The anticipation is up as the pace car just about to turn left. He's going to turn the field over to EJ O'Rourke to kick the throttle. Pace car heads to pit road. O'Rourke looking across as the starter gives them the green, and they're hard on the throttle, and there they go to turn number 1.
Pretty relaxed start for these guys. These guys are usually very aggressive, but we're going to go ahead and get this thing on the roll. And I'll tell you what, 2x2 for the most part, nobody's really jumped out of line yet. EJ's got himself a little bit of company on the outside now with a 30 of Macklin. He's got the 18 behind him, and I believe that's, Gilliland right there that's outside?
Yeah, and Taraska in the 18, he's got a good push to the outside lane. He was pushing Macklin, who jumped to the inside, down to the double yellow for him, and that's going to allow Taraska to pull up there on the outside as they're side-by-side going into the banking for turn number 3. He's got a great push by Adam Gilliland in the number 81 right behind him. As Gilliland, gets a little sideways, but they're going to go across the stripe, and it's going to be Kyle Taraska leading lap number 1.
I tell you what, we did some testing in the A car last week, being a bunch of guys, and you wouldn't believe how loose that car can get, especially once the fuel starts getting down to about halfway point. Speaking of fuel, Kevin, we have an inside source telling us we're looking at between 30 to 35 laps on fuel. So if this thing goes green all the way, we're going to have a pit stop somewhere.
Yeah, and we should tell you these drivers raced their way in. They either won a pole or won a race last year. A couple drivers made the call by draw, and we see now that the third line is forming to the outside. A couple guys getting ambitious. Unlike Talladega, it's a little tight up there, but Kevin Brown is hooked onto the back bumper of Chad Coleman. Coleman always seems to be that Pied Piper up to the outside.
Yeah, he is that guy. He's the one that looks for the place where nobody else is at to try to find some speed up there. Personally speaking, I am not a fan of the high line of Daytona. Like you said, it's tight up there, and one little wiggle from somebody down below you, and it's over with. Well, he's got company now up top. Justin Fuller joins that 2-car bash, making a 3-car run now. They might be able to gain a little bit more ground now on that outside there, Kevin.
In the inside lane coming off of turn number 4, looks a little nervous out of that second place car on the inside, the 41 of O'Rourke. Big wobble and wiggle coming out of the corner. You would think riding around here it would be like a Sunday drive, but that's not the case. You are in the seat up on the wheel because these cars move around so much in the wind.
Oh, it's nerve-wracking how much these cars get around. You get I used to call it wiggly loose inside the pack there. And, you touch on it. Sometimes it's barely on the edge of control right there. So now we've got 5 cars up there in that third line, and they're making some room, making some advancement there up on the top line there with the 23 car leading the way, the 5 car behind him. We got Fuller, we got Colvin still in there, and Kevin DeBrown kind of bringing up the rear at that high line there.
Yeah, Trey Edson in that number 5 is pushing right behind the number 23 of Josh Parker, trying to make that outside lane. And now you really draw up. You're running 3 wide. There's not a lot of room there. And we go take a call to Jason Barham. Jason, these guys hooked up with their teammates, and they're running pretty nose to tail here going down the back straightaway.
You know, I was paying attention here on the first lap, and right away I seen Macklin coming on the outside, and I was going to call it, but you guys were calling a great race already. I figured Macklin was going to try to get in front of EJ, who's one of his teammates, And now it's kind of getting mixed up again. But yeah, just pay attention. I see Chad Coleman and Kevin Brown. They're kind of teammates as well. It seems like the teams are trying to get teamed up here and work together to try to get that $25 prize.
Yeah, a couple of drivers out in the back are just kind of pacing themselves. I think they're just hanging off the back. I'm looking at Jose going to number 26 sharp paint scheme for Jose to start out the season. Right in front of him, Chad Cole and Gale Brooks. Both of them, they're not too far, John, off that main pack, but they're kind of hanging back a little bit. It's a lot more casual riding back there for sure.
Absolutely. Tail end Charlie is DeBarro in that 27 car. He's last in line back there, and you know, that's kind of my kind of move, to be honest with you, Kevin. I'm not real aggressive. I like to let the madness take place in the first opening laps and just make sure I'm there on the end of the race, and that looks like DeBarro's right now. But back up front, it's just getting crazy up there. Macklin has managed to kind of pull away that lead a little bit. He did it working the draft on the inside, kind of the middle line there. Got down at the front of the 18 of Kyle Tarasco, but now he's got his hands full. Up high, the 43 car of Doug Roth getting a push. Oh, but he doesn't clear him. Gets a little loose and catches it. Oh, my gosh.
That was unbelievable. That right there was a wreck that did not happen. The car sideways. The left front hit the apron and pushed the car back out on the track. And I'm telling you what, Doug Roth, did he draw up on his seat there. That spread everybody out a little bit. Justin Fuller and Scott Stenzel were able to draw away, but in a moment, everybody will take a breath and then they're going to come back through. What I noticed, John, racing with these guys, you would think that you could hang back and then drive yourself through, but the drivers here at Sim500, they're fast. They are always spot on, running on the edge.
Whoa.
And they do it lap after lap.
We just had the 2-car pushed down below the line there, and I guess we're waiting on the officials to give us a determination. I thought that was illegal, Kevin, that you couldn't advance your position like that.
I think Mike Kelly was taking evasive action. He had such a run that if he did get to the back bumper of that car, he was going to run him over. Now the question is, will he give it back? Right now, he's hanging out here in the outside lane. They're discussing it probably over the radio, and they seem like he's drifting back. And I think if he goes back to where he came from, no harm, no foul. And he's doing just that. He's already slid back to about the 5th or 6th position. So I think we're okay there.
Yeah, he'll be all right, I'm sure. But back to what you were saying, yeah, these are some of the absolute best drivers you're going to see in sim racing. I touched on this in the intro. Oh, sorry, before we went live. The strength of field in this thing is over 4,000. I mean, you got some of the absolute best drivers in the service right now, and it doesn't hurt that these cars, the A car, is a lot easier to catch and spin when you're driving it. You're able to catch it when it gets loose. A lot easier than the B car for sure. I tell you what, but like you said, these are some fast drivers, and they already caught up to Stenzel and Fuller, and pretty much have dispatched them there. They're dropping back now.
Yeah, these guys are making me nervous. Justin Fuller was 30 degrees sideways off of turn number 2. When you have a car right on your back bumper, yeah, you can save the car, but it's really difficult not to get run over. And so far, even though these cars have looked very nervous in these first opening laps, we're 10 laps in, 1/4 the distance. We're still green, and they're still going pretty well here.
Oh, the slicing and dicing is unbelievable right now. And it's not up. Whoa, another car gets loose right there. Stellar catch. He's still trying to catch it.
Unbelievable. How did EJ O'Rourke save that? He was sideways, and he was doing a death wobble, and somehow he gathered that car up. I saw the car right behind him, recognized what was going on. You can't wave your hand out the window, but these drivers do see what's going on. And it's difficult, John, to see out the front windshield past the spoiler and the roof of the car in front of you. So good heads-up driving by these guys.
This is one of the worst cars as far as trying to see out the front windshield. It's just so hard to see anything.
Go across the line to complete lap 11, working lap number 12. Side by side, but it looks like the field has spread out just a little bit. I think everybody saw what was going on there and maybe wants to take a little bit.
Can't blame them. I mean, it was getting kind of nuts for a while there. But like I said, we're only 12 laps into this race, just barely over a quarter of the way through it, and there's really no need to wad everybody. And as we say that, we got a car up into the wall out there. He's got some significant damage.
Looks like Tommy Ryan got in the wall there.
That's exactly who it was. Tommy Ryan, the 99 car, that black and red car, kind of threw me off. I'm used to seeing him in a a gold and yellow car and black, but he's got a new sponsor this season. He's got potential right side damage. What'd you see there, Jason?
Well, it's still technically a silly season for us, paint schemes and numbers. So yeah, John, I hear you. It's tough to figure this out. Tommy had such a great run. It kind of caught Trey by surprise and just ran out of room. Went high at the last minute there and just rushed the ball a little bit. Tommy in the right, but we have a car in the wall. Down into the wall.
Oh, that's a big one.
Correct. We have
a lot of cars. My goodness, and that's a danger every time we get to these play tracks. Kevin is one car up front getting out of shape and taking a few cars with him.
Yeah, it was just a matter of time before it was going to happen. These drivers wobbling and weaving all the way through. It looked like that one might have started with the 43 of Doug Roth got sideways. Contact was made between the Kevin Brown car and the 22 of Nelson Rivera, and then everybody piled in. The guy who did a spectacular job watching him drive through that was Scott Stenzel. Scott just got hard on the binders, let everybody crash. All the cars slid down the banking as it's self-cleaning, and he was able to drive through without any problems there. Great job by the Scott Stenzel, number 63.
Well, I went back and looked at it. Actually, what happened here is the 18 got a little loose down on the bottom there, and as you touched on earlier, he hit that apron, which shot him right back up the track and into the 43. Into the car of Kevin Brown, the 93 car, and it was on from there. So unfortunately, it's going to collect a lot of good race cars that were very fast at the start of this race. So we're going to have to wait and see who cycles through the pits and get enough damage fixed to still be competitive, and who, unfortunately, will be out for the night.
Yeah, I know that the number 30, who's always strong, Macklin, got quite a bit of damage. As they head to pit road, we'll turn it over to Jason to tell us what's going to happen down there, as a lot of cars are going to get out some hammers.
Yeah, well, the fuel that we were talking about that could be in play is out the window right now. This is just straight up get some tires. Some guys are going to top off. Some are just going to get enough just to finish the race. But from here on out, this is just going to be a drag race. There's not going to be no strategy needed. Just pedal to the metal from here on out.
I think what we're going to see too
Mike
is
Kelly and Justin Fuller lead pit road off first, including N. Gillen is your top three, it looks like.
And we do have two cars that have pulled behind the wall. That right now is Jeff Ryan and Tommy Ryan, brothers Ryan, have decided to go ahead and park their cars for the night. And that's unfortunate there, Kevin.
Yeah, and a lot of drivers taking this opportunity to get their cars fixed. Doug Roth down there on pit road, hammers out for Kevin Brown. They're going to have extensive damage there. Nelson Rivera, his car has quite a bit of damage on it. See the second place starter of Brian Macklin, the back of that Toyota is caved in, the Transervice car. So the good news for these guys is that it takes a long time to run a caution around here at Daytona, so they'll have a little bit of time to beat and bang out the fenders. And if you can get yourself in the draft, John, it is possible that you could still have a competitive car.
Oh, yeah. We've seen it here, actually, in the Sim500 Daytona 500 last year, and I believe at Talladega as well. Cars with almost nothing on the front. They look like little modifieds running around out there, but they get a good car behind them, and they're right up there in the back of a good car in front of them. It doesn't seem to affect them too bad, but I tell you what, as soon as their nose is exposed to the draft, it's like somebody pulls a parachute on that car. So that'll be something to watch too. I haven't got confirmation yet, Kevin, but I'm hearing that Macklin's engine may have expired as well. So we're gonna have to look and see if he's able to get back in. 29 car of Donnie Leah, a former winner in the Camping World Truck Series a few years ago. He's called quits. He's pulled behind the garage and he's out. So yeah, we're gonna lose a few cars in this one, I do believe.
And as we reset the field, they just come across the stripe and the timing is caught up. Mike Kelly, the veteran in the number 2, is going to be your pole sitter for the restart. Justin Fuller's to his outside. Adam Gilliland, Nick Cohen, Scott Stenzel, by virtue of his quick hands there, is going to start in fifth as they come around. The lights are out on the pace car, so we'll go green next time by as they head down the super stretch here at Daytona. And yeah, that will cull the field, but we have plenty of super strong drivers in here, and it should be a pretty exciting race to the finish.
Oh, yeah, we still got some great drivers in this race. You still got, like you said, Kelly up front, Justin Fuller to his outside. Behind him, you've got Nick Cohan of the 21, Adam Gilliland. All these guys are former winners in this series last season, which, by the way, is how they got into this race tonight. So we still got some great cars out there, and I just want to toot my own horn here for a second. The car that I painted is still in the race, the 44 of Glenn Campbell. He's hanging out back there. So I'm rooting. That's, I'm pulling for that guy. But we're about to go green here, Kevin. You want to take it for us?
Yeah, for sure. We see a couple cars still sitting down there on pit road getting service. So I guess they're going to be laps down as we get ready. The pace car just about to make that left-hand turn and release the field to Mike Kelly. Everybody seems a little more spread out this time by as Kelly just about to kick the gears. He brought him in a little slow to the outside. The 51 of Fuller got a jump on him. He's going to beat him to the actual start-finish line. That might be by virtue of the number 21 of Cohen shoving him down the front straightaway here as they head to turn 1. And we're restarting here on lap number 17 after a big mix-up over turn 3.
I tell you what, that move that Fuller just pulled, that is one of the most irritating things to play track, when you push a guy out front and he ditches you and leaves you out to hang. Look at this, Adam Gilliland jumping up to the middle line there, trying to get something going, get around those two on the bottom. In the meantime, our boy up there in the 23, Josh Parker, he and Cohan see that move. They cut that off real quick, and Cohan drops all the way down in front of Fuller.
And they left Beasley out to dry as he's going to go out. And I'll tell you, boy, that looked pretty nervous to me. The 21 jumped out of line to the center. Josh Parker had to take evasive action. He got stuck to the outside. Gilliland's going to go by. And, well, look, Jose Gonzalez decided it wasn't time to ride anymore. He's up there in the mix, running in the 5th or 6th position.
Now, all this is going down. We're just past, just about to the halfway point, 20 laps, and we're only a couple laps away from that, Kevin. And as Jason touched on a minute ago, fuel questions out the window. They can make it all the way now. So I guess you have to ask yourself, how long do you want to lay back like we see those guys in the back?
Fuller is going to try and pull the move on the outside. I guaranteed here by the start-finish line. Adam Gillian, he knows he's got a teammate on the outside. Look for this move to happen here relatively quick here, guys.
Yeah, Jason, I'm looking at that number 10 car. He's dropped back to the 12th position. Do we know who he's working with here? He was out to the outside, had no friends going for him. He's looking for somebody to help him come back up.
I think he's a one-car team, isn't he there, Jason?
I believe so. Do we know if there's damage on the Gillian car? Because he should have sucked up pretty good. Here he finally has a little bit of a run. I just was talking about him and Fuller. I expect this to go to the outside here. Right there it is.
Yeah, they were just taking their time with that move, but you called it, man. He jumps up there on the outside with Gilliland now. Is he going to wait for Gilliland to clear? It looks like he will. So those two teammates, Kevin, have worked themselves in front. Josh Fuller up front, followed by Dave Gilliland. Oh, man. That was close.
Paper in there.
We got a battle for the lead between two teammates here with 20 to go. With 16 drivers currently still in this race, up for grabs is $25 here.
Look at all that wiggle in the Cohan car there, Kevin. Look at that. That car's just wiggling everywhere.
Yeah, these guys have their hands full for sure. See Josh Parker up there in the 10th position. He's on the outside lane once again. Drop down a little bit to the center lane. He's just trying to pick up a little bit of a draft off that car in front of him. And then I suspect he's going to go back outside there. But he did leave the number 38 of Chad Coleman. Coleman got picked up by the 5 of Trey Edson. We haven't heard much out of Trey tonight, but Trey is certainly a strong runner and is going to be in the mix by the end of it.
And look at Parker, Josh Parker up there on the outside line. Thought he was going to jump up and get some help, but I don't think he's going to. And my apologies, by the way, folks, to Justin Fuller. I mispronounced his first name earlier, my bad. I always get him and Jeff confused because to me they drive the same. But anyway, back up front, Cohan and Gilland and Fuller still just up there dicing it out.
Tell you, the guy who looks smooth and just calm and calculated sitting there is that number 2 of Mike Kelly. He's not pushing a lot. He's just kind of running smooth. The car's not bouncing around. He's got a good wheel here tonight. You can tell that Fuller, Fuller tends to drive. He wants to be leading, and he's got a good pusher in Jose Gonzalez. Although I see a little damage on the back of that number 26.
Yeah, there's a little damage on the back of 26, but not much. If he can stay up in the draft, he'll be okay. In the meantime, back up on that high line, it looks like we've got that's Josh Parker. You've got is that the 30? No, I'm sorry. That's the I can't see the numbers too well. No, I was 38, Coleman, and then he's
Yeah,
that's it. Go. They had a third guy with him, but he ditched him. So I just can't get over how much Cohan's car is wiggling.
Yeah, Cohan out front and TJ Auto21.com sideways, and yeah, Justin Fuller's going to go to the house. He's going to be able to save that car, get it in the right direction. We're going to go under caution again here, lap number 23.
I don't know what happened. It honestly looked like something broke on the 2 car.
Yeah, I think what happened is the 2 came up and rubbed against the number 26. That just got loose, came up into that lane, and the 2 of them made contact, and then that just precipitated contact in the middle there. Glenn Campbell took a big hit in the 44 to the outside. Big body slapper on the right.
Yeah, man, that was a huge hit. And once again, we find ourselves under caution here at Daytona International Speedway. Kevin, that one's going to take a few cars out of contention as well, looks like.
Yeah, we've been watching these cars nervous, and we'll have to go to Jason and see what he sees on pit road about who's going to try and get their car straightened out for this final run to the finish.
Well, I'm looking about 10 to 11 cars minimum here have a lot of damage. Not looking good. I think only really the top 2-3 guys really made it through the incident, and maybe the last few guys that were in the pack. Otherwise, every guy was pretty much blocked, and not looking good for a lot of guys. $25 richer in their pocket tonight after that incident.
No, there were a couple cars there that were hanging out in the back. One of them was Chad Cole in that number 17. He wasn't lagging off the field, John, but he was hanging in the back, and he was able to drive through that cleanly. That car looks pretty good.
Yeah, I'm looking at the car of Chad Cole now, and that Culver's number 17 Ford Mustang's a pretty good looking paint job. I don't see a whole lot of damage on it, so he looks reasonably well. The car behind him, that Tide Ride Mustang of Richard Beasley, looks pretty good. We were talking about Mr. Quiet guy, Anthony DeBarro, earlier. His car looks like it has a little bit of nose damage, but other than that, it's not too bad. And just behind him, we got the Ford Mustang of Gael Brooks. Other than that, I mean, most of these guys, Cohan looks okay. And that's it. We got, 7 cars that didn't get damaged in that at all? Oh, my goodness. And, folks, if you're just tuning in, we had a big wreck earlier in the evening that took out 6 cars. That would be the cars of Kevin DeBrown, Nelson Rivera, Brian Macklin, Doug Roth, Donnie Lee, and Tommy Ryan, and Jeff Ryan. They're all gone. Jeff Ryan, by the way, I need to clear myself up there, Kevin. He was not driving earlier. He was spotting for his brother, Tommy. And I didn't mean to imply that he was driving. My apologies. But anyway, so we got a few cars out, and it looks like we've whittled this thing down to possibly 7 or 8 cars left for this last, 10-minute shootout?
Yeah, Kyle Taraska, he got bumped in the middle there and just tapped. He went in and got the damage fixed. The car looks pretty good, so I think he's going to be competitive. We want to take a moment and talk about qualifying. This is the Clash. Next week is the Open, and then the following week it would be the equivalent of the 500. We ran some qualifying races earlier today, and Tyler Dalton, Tommy Ryan, speaking of Tommy Ryan, finished 1-2, so Dalton will have the pole for the Daytona race coming up, and you're going to tune in next week to see the duels, as we call them, as Kyle Taraska heads to pit road one more time to get some additional service to that number 18 personal comfort Ford. And I'm looking forward to this season, John. These guys, every one of them comes in with a clean slate and a new game plan, and it's just exciting to see a new paint schemes, like we said earlier, and new faces, some new names in here. Kyle Tereska, not familiar with him, haven't seen him race, but he's having a good go of it tonight.
Kyle, I believe, runs sprints in the real world, if I'm not mistaken. I can't. I know I had a conversation with him about it a while back. He's been running these guys in the lower series for about a year now. He's pretty fast. He's pretty good. I tell you what, it's just it's a shame that we've had some really fast cars taken out already, but we still got 12 guys in this thing, 11 guys in this thing that are great drivers. So I don't want to sound like we're knocking these guys that are still in this race. They are great drivers. They've managed to survive the melee so far, Kevin. And I'm looking forward to these last 13, 14 laps.
Yeah, so Jason, you've been in the midst of some of this stuff. How do you run these final laps to get to lap number 40 here and get yourself a win?
Well, it depends who you are. You could be a guy like EJ who has a little bit more damage. He could possibly get up here and help his teammate out. That's what I would do. I try to help out somebody in our team, like Adam Gillian up there. But I'm looking at a really clean car up here, and the 10 is Beasley. So watch him. He's done fairly well here, and I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to pick Beasley to win this here.
There you go, the Tide Ride in for the win for Jason Barham as we get ready for the restart. The pace car is in. Nick Cohen kicks the gear. He's going to charge off into full throttle as we have Cohen, Gillen, Cole, Beasley, Gale Brooks, Anthony DeBarro now running in the 6th position. I guess Anthony decided it was time to mix it up a little bit. That car looks clean as they're going through turns 1 and 2. The field a little bit spread out as Gale Brooks drops down to the low line to pick up Anthony DeBarro.
Yeah, I'd have to say that Cohan got too good of a start there on that restart, and he got too far away from his push down below, which enabled Gilliland up high with Beasley pushing him to stay right there in the fight and not really let them have any separation between Nick Cohan and his pusher down there. So we still have basically a 6-7 car fight for the lead here, Kevin.
We saw the 44 of Glenn Campbell take quite a shot to the outside wall just a bit ago. He's currently running in the 12th position, and he's dropped off that lead pack. 11 cars make up the lead pack. They're running 2 by 2 by 2 for the first 6, and then they're single file out to the back of the number 63 car. Scott Stenzel running in 11th, and yeah, quite a few of these cars up front have a little bit of damage, but in the draft, they should remain competitive.
Yeah, they should be okay. That 44 car's got extensive nose damage, and being as how he's about a second and a half off the back of the pack there, he's probably going to lose that draft pretty quickly. But back up front, they are really not taking much of a break from it at all. Cohan still has that lead, but up there in the kind of mid to high line, you've got Fuller pushing Gilliland now. The 51 hooked up with the 81. Those two are teammates. And just behind them, Taraska's back in the mix. So we've got everybody kind of 2 by 2 by 2 now, Kevin, for the finish of this race.
29 laps on the board, working to get to lap number 30 of a 40-lap race. And for these drivers right now, it's like a chess match. They're really just trying to make sure that they can stay in. It's hard to pass. It's hard to pass unless the lines break up. So they want to get as far ahead as they can in that stack so that if the opportunity presents, they can get themselves a win. You would think they'd ride just a little bit, but they've got to take the opportunity.
Well, I'm going to jump in here real quick. I want you guys to pay attention to the high side there. You guys see 6 cars up there? I'm going to tell you what, 5 of those 6 are on the same team. So they got something going on there. It's looking pretty good odds for them that one of them is going to come out here with the $25 prize. As we see a battle for the lead, Block and Gillian.
I tell you what, that was a brave move that 21 just did, jumping up there in front of Gilliland like that. As loose as his car has been, that could have instantly been disaster, but everybody kept control of their vehicles. He did break the momentum of that high line, and as he did that, as you see, some of those guys have bailed and jumped down to the low line. Meantime, Cohan still has that lead, Kevin.
Yeah, Cohan's car looks a little bit nervous, and I'll tell you what, these guys are not afraid to steal that gap right now. I saw Adam Gilliland just drop from the banking down to pick up the back bumper of your leader. They're fiercely fighting for those positions as Chad Cole, good heads-up driving and seeing that Gilliland car coming down across the track.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there. There wasn't more than a paper's width of clearance there, it seemed like, between their bumpers. In the meantime, back there, Fuller is trying to get that second line moving. He's going to get a little help now in front of him with DeBarro. DeBarro hoping to get a push, hoping to get him up front. You talked about DeBarro. Oh, that was really loose wiggle. DeBarro earlier was, oh, look at that. Gilliland tried to throw a block. Oh, no. Oh, he almost caught it, but he did not. And he's going to take 3 or 4 cars with him. One more caution going to come out. That was really unfortunate.
Looks like Kyle Taraska, Chad Cole, EJ O'Rourke, Trey Edson, and is it Guile Brooks is in this incident. 5 cars.
That's literally half of the field that we had left right there, Kevin.
Yeah, it sure looks like that started maybe with the 27, went into the corner and turned it in, and the car just broke loose. He came down and body slammed the car underneath him. I thought everybody was going to save it, get it sorted out, but unfortunately a little too loose for Chad Cole. He went up across the track, collected Taraska and Brooks and a couple others, and yeah, that's what's going to happen. It's still anybody's race at this point, and I feel bad for the number 5 car. Trey Edson was just kind of riding back there, piling pretty clean, and he just had nothing he could do but pile into the back of that.
Yeah, how do you think Chad Cole feels? I mean, he's cruising down there, having a good run going, and all of a sudden he's got another car just slamming the heck out of him. That had to catch him completely off guard.
Yeah, Taraska's car, EJ O'Rourke car, both of them missing the TV panel on the back of the car. They're dinged and damaged all the way around. So, yeah, a lot of this field is going to have to just kind of scrape their way through the finish here. 33 laps are complete. The pace car has picked up your leader in the number 21. It looks like Nick Cohen, as nervous as that car has been, has found the right strategy, Jason. He's been out front, and if there's trouble behind him, he's just driving off from him.
Well, this incident right here, we just pretty much had an 11-car breakaway there. We had 5 cars in that incident. Now we're down to a 6-pack of cars here. I believe all of them cars are going to have too much damage to really do anything. So I think those cars that you're looking at out on the track here behind the pace car right now, those 6 are going to be the ones in contention for the win. And I believe you're right about Cohen. Cohen's doing this race just right. And he's seen the pairing up of the teammates. Well, now the teammate system there is pretty much gone. So I think I still like Beasley here, but Cohen's got to be your odds-on favorite here. He's done everything great so far here tonight.
Yeah, and we'll turn to John and ask you, who do you think is going to get the win here, John?
Pass the yellow by let Kevin go.
I'm going to be honest with you. At this point, with the attrition that we've had and looking at the cars that are left on track, it's really down to the top 2, Cohen and Gilliland. And having raced these 2 in the past, I feel that Gilliland's probably going to be a little bit more aggressive, try to get that $25 prize. So I'm going to throw my hat in the ring with Gilliland.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. But since you picked Gilliland, I'm going to have to go somewhere else. And I think I'm going to put my money down on that number 51. I think Justin Fuller, the veteran, gets it done here tonight. Although, where did the number 2 of Mike Kelly go?
I believe he got caught in one of those wrecks earlier.
Yeah, it sure looks like it. He's sitting down there on pit road. So, yeah, I'm going to go with our friend, Mr. Fuller.
Well, I'm sure he'll appreciate that. You know, Justin's an interesting guy. He drives while he's retired from driving.
Yeah. Okay.
I shouldn't.
Wait, what?
You know what
I get it.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, Jason. We got to give Justin a hard time sometimes. He got a little upset with things, I guess, about a year or so ago. Said, I'm retiring. I'm selling all my stuff, and was back about 2 weeks later. But here we go. They're going to go ahead and line up side by side now. Lights off on the pace car here shortly. And Kevin, we've still got some fast cars up front that are not damaged. We got some damaged cars in there that went down pit road and got some of that damage fixed. So I mean, this could be a really interesting restart. And I think we're going to go green with 5 laps to go. Correct?
Yeah, a lot of those drivers did the Cole Trickle thing. They just pulled out of pit road, beat the pace car. Gonna beat the pace car, and now they're running full speed to try and get back to the field. I'm going to take a moment to say, for 50 years, Transervice provides proven innovative solutions. Look to them for an authentic partnership approach in 5 major offerings: dedicated contract maintenance, dedicated full service leasing, dedicated contract carriage, dedicated material handling, equipment leasing and maintenance, and freight management. Visit them on the web, www.transervice.com. A history of service, a tradition of excellence. We want to thank Transervice for supporting the series as we get ready for the restart here. Lights are out on the pace car. They roll through turn number 3, and it's going to continue to be Nick Cohan, who's going to have a new partner on the outside. Adam Gilliland's going to be there for the dance. Justin Fuller, Richard Beasley, and Scott Stenzel make up your top 5 for this restart. And, yep, we're getting to go time. I don't think that any of them are going to give any room here, John.
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, even though this isn't a points race, this is just for pride and bragging rights and $25. There's not going to be any give here. And I guarantee we're going to see one hell of a race for these next 5 laps.
You can hear the cars come up to speed as a big bump off of Fuller to the back of Cohen. They're going to come up, but they're pretty much a dead heat going into the corner. Beasley gets a little sideways going in, and the top 4 you could throw a blanket over.
We got some modifieds bringing up the rear of the pack back there. It's always fun to see those guys out on track. And I tell you what, I'm really surprised the 44 is still up inside that draft. Looks like he might be able to hang up there on the outside with Gilliland and Beasley. Gilliland's making some room up there on the high side. As I say that, they go into a turn, and he starts to get left behind. And now it's about a 6-car draft on the bottom, and DeBarro can't really make up his mind where he wants to go.
DeBarro went out to the outside of Edson for the 5, then ducked back down. He wants to be down on the yellow lines, I think. He didn't like that outside move a little bit earlier. That didn't work out very well for him. Top 4 running side by side, door to door. They've got the number 63 of Scott Stenzel just peeking to see if he can find a line. I think Scott looking to see if he can get himself to where we talked about earlier, John. He wants to be as far forward as possible as these laps take off.
You're absolutely right. I think the damage to the 5 car and the 44 is starting to show. The 44 is definitely dropping back, and oh my goodness, look at this. Look at this, blocking and cutting and diving. And we get a car turn. It's Gilliland. He's going down. He takes it. Good Lord.
This has turned out to be a bloodbath, guys. This is great. I wish we could be down there in the garage area right now. I mean, these guys got to be throwing fists already.
I'm going to say
season.
I guarantee there's some crescent ridges flying through the garage right now.
Oh, boy. This is what happens, folks, when you take 2 months off and everybody has just, they're ready to get back in the racing. And sometimes this is what's happened. And tonight, that's the case, you know, guys. But I can tell you what, guys they're not leaving nothing on the table. They're going for it tonight. Give them credit for that.
Well, you're right. You're absolutely right, Jason. It's better than watching a bunch of guys, following the leader, which we've seen in the past, and that's a boring race. It's unfortunate they're going to wad up a lot of race cars doing this, but it is Daytona. It is to be expected.
I would actually call that a racing incident, and I'm going to explain it. The 51 got sideways after trying to 21 to turn in the corner. Everybody was taking evasive action, and I think the 51 on the outside lane, Fuller's car was coming backwards. Gilliland lifted a little bit, and unfortunately, Beasley tagged him. He just had too much momentum, turned him sideways down into Stenzel, and that's pack racing. When you're running, going for it right at the end, and you're running nose to tail, wide open, this is what you're going to get. But you know what? We're going to rack them up and stack them again. We're going to do it again. We're not done yet.
Yeah, if you guys are unaware of the rules here tonight, we have 2 attempts at a green-white checker. So we're going to get our first attempt here when we go back to green. And so it should be another fun-filled action But this time we got 2 laps to figure it out who wins the $25 prize tonight.
Yeah, and it's bragging rights. This is not a points race for the season. These guys aren't trying to make sure they protect themselves and get their early points, and cars certainly crash. They just reset them. So, yeah, they're going to run wide open, and that's what we're going to see. We're going to see these drivers giving everything they have to get to the finish line. As I see Anthony DeBarro ducking in. I'm kind of surprised. I figured he would stay out there and hold that track position, but I guess he's going to go in and see if he can get himself a little damage control. Yep,
That wreck took a few guys out there, but I tell you, somebody who benefited from that was that 44 of Glenn Coleman. He's going to start staying in 4th on the next restart, and there's only 2 cars ahead of him that aren't damaged now. So, I mean, it looks to me like Cohan and Fuller are the only 2 cars left. Well, Fuller's got some rear end damage now that I'm looking at him. I take that back.
Yeah, looks like you're right. Cohan is the only car out there tonight that looks clean yet.
Yeah, I was looking at the 10 of Beasley. The good news for him is the front of the car is straight. The back panel is missing, and in the real world, air moving through that back panel, they make you actually put one of those back on simply because it's too much of an advantage. But we see several of these drivers with no front end. We see right now Gail Brooks going out in that car, no front end, looks, as you said earlier, like a modified. But yep, you know what? Who cares? We're going to see a great finish here. Somebody's going to win this thing. 2 green-white checkers to get it done. We're working lap number 40, so we are going into overtime, and it should be a pretty interesting finish.
Absolutely. And I'm looking at Chad Coleman's car real close. And he's got a pretty beat up back end. I don't know if he got somebody fast behind him, but I'm gonna be honest with you. It looks like it's gonna be down to Fuller and Cohan on this restart.
Yeah, Cohan's car certainly looks good. Has been out front, wibbling, wobbling, but keeping that car out there. And, you know, what they say, wider is better, so he's done pretty good at that.
And most importantly, he's kept his car clean. He's got no damage at all. So, you know, that's
So Justin Fuller comes around to the back stretch, about halfway down, going to pick up the pace car. Pace car still has the lights on as he picks up Fuller's Ford. Right behind Fuller, you're going to find the 21 of Nick Cohen, and then you're going to have Adam Gilliland. And Gilliland did a masterful job. He went off the track, down to the banking, through the grass, and even so kept the car straight, didn't bang it up, didn't lose it, and that might parlay to a victory here tonight.
well, we're going to find out. The lights are off in the pace car. They're coming down the back stretch now, Kevin. And we're going to see, I guess, who can survive this race of the fittest and get to the end of it.
So setting your lineup, Fuller's out front, Cohen's in second, Gilliland third, Glenn Campbell in the damaged 44 is fourth. We expect he's going to have to pull up and drop off. Chad Coleman in the 38, he's also damaged in fifth. Scott Stenzel, Anthony DeBarro, Gail Brooks, Trey Edson, EJ O'Rourke, they round out your top 10. As I'm going to keep an eye on that number 27 of DeBarro. I think that car looks pretty good, and he looked fast. He was able to make his way through. Pace car turns left. Neat racing here in the dark at Daytona International. Our season icebreaker, and it's going to be Justin Fuller kicking it off to take him back to green. Gilliland right to his back bumper, pushing him off as Cohen looking for some help to the outside. They race off to turn number 1. We're in green, white, checker.
In the back already.
Yeah,
we
like
stayed
that.
green, though. We have stayed green. This looks like the race is going to finish here. If they can just get back to the stripe here, we're going to get the white flag, and it looks like we're going to end this race.
Under green, hopefully. Big shot there from Gilliland into the back bumper of Fuller. And these two are teammates, if I recall correctly. Right, Jason?
Yes, it looks like Gillian. Well, the gloves are off here. We're coming up to the white flag. Cohen's going to push Gillian as hard as he can to the stripe. See if they can break away from Fuller. It looks like this is the only way DeBarro is going to try and win this race. If he could stay in between these teammates, this is his chance to win the race right here.
Absolutely correct. And I tell you what, I think the damage that Fuller sustained might be telling on him right now because he's definitely losing ground here. In the meantime, here goes Cohen to the outside, down the backstretch. I believe this is our white flag lap, correct?
This is white flag right here. I'm sorry I was saying DeBarro. I was so excited here. It's Cohen out front into turn 3 one last time into turn 4. Bring it out here, Kevin. Bring it home.
Fuller to the outside as sideways goes Gilliland down to the apron. Fuller's going to go to the outside. Here he comes. He's going to draw along. They make contact. Who's going to be? I have no idea who won that.
Fuller looks like he won it.
Stroker A style, man.
Yeah, he was sideways down on the apron, and I just couldn't tell whether or not the car on the outside was going to get him or not. Where did Fuller come from? He got such a run on those final. I thought he was damaged like you thought. And he made that contact with the number 21, slowed his progress, and did kind of a Kyle Busch there, just blocked him to the line. And what an amazing finish. 2 cars sideways in the grass for the win.
Well, I'll tell you, what happened, it looked like, was DeBarro made his move to the outside of Gilliland. Gilliland didn't even try to block it. He just let him go, which gave him and Fuller a chance to link up. And, I mean, this is all happening on the backstretch. And then Fuller gets up, nails the 81 in the back, shoves him practically all the way up to the bumper of Cohen. So Gilliland ducks down to the outside. Fuller goes to the inside. Fuller goes to the outside. Cohen doesn't know who to block. Oh man, that was fun. That was fun to watch.
Tell you what, Adam Gilliland missed that by only a couple feet. The other two, he was probably looking to his left to see whether or not he was going to beat him to the line as Fuller wins going through the grass. And that is about as the best definition of elbows up finish you have ever seen.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So, wow. What a great finish. Let's give you your results here. Fuller is the winner. Cohen came across the line in second. Adam Gilliland third. Glenn Campbell struggled but hung on there for fourth in the top 5 for Richard Beasley. Who picked Fuller? That was me, yeah?
Yeah, that was you.
You picked Fuller, you smart guy there.
How about that? Well, let's see if we can get these drivers up in here and have a conversation with them and just see what their thoughts are. I'm imagining Justin Fuller had a great time going through the grass to get himself the win here tonight at Daytona. We'll turn it over to John, who's going to catch up with our winner. Go ahead, John. Let's see if you got Justin Fuller.
I am right here with Mr. Fuller. Justin, how you doing, buddy? Congratulations on the win in the Clash. Justin has everything muted.
That means he's just celebrating a little hard right now, screaming, probably crying, in tears of joy, aren't you, Justin?
You back yet? There he is.
I missed the first part of that because I don't have any notifications on Discord telling me I got moved. So,
Well, you're just asking how you feeling, buddy? How was that win for you?
it's a good way to kick the season off. I mean, it's just a plate race, so it's nothing overly special, but it was a fun little way to get the cobwebs out before we get ready to go racing again in 2021. And don't get me wrong, it's $25 on the line, so while it's not life-changing money, it was fun to race for, and it was a good little battle there at the end.
So tell me what went through your mind as you come out of 4, pushing Gilliland like you were, coming down to that tri-oval, and all of a sudden Gilliland shoots down to the inside. And did you just make up your mind at that point that you're going to the outside and see what you can get done?
Well, the lap prior in 3 and 4, Adam was just pushing me, and I don't know if it's a Chevy or what, but he hit me and just shot me straight up the track, and then they both went under me. So, I was not going to get to them unless they got side by side. Nick should have probably, in my opinion, waited longer, but once they got side by side, I don't know, quarter of the way, midway down the backstretch, I said, well, I'm going to catch up now. And I knew Adam had damage and Nick didn't, so Nick was able to clear him. And I knew I didn't have many options. If I had tried to pass Adam, I was not going to get to Nick to beat him because Nick didn't have any damage to my knowledge. So I had to push Adam and got got a huge run. Let them two got squirrely, and Nick kind of lost track of me there for a second, I think, and I just able to get to the outside. We banged doors coming to the line though. That was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun to watch, man. Well, congratulations. There you have it, folks. Justin Fuller, driver of the number 51 Comfort Ford Mustang for 2021 Transervice Cup Clash for the Cash. Justin, do you have anybody you want to thank for the run tonight?
Yeah, I thank Joey Katina and everybody at Sim500 for putting this on. Looking forward to the next season. I wish the off season was a little longer, but here we are. We're starting it off. So thanks, guys. Sounds of Personal Comfort for being my sponsor. I got one of their beds. It's a good product. So if you're looking for a bed, check them out. All my teammates at Aftermath Motorsports, everybody in the race, and everybody that watched. It was a fun time. So hopefully, in a couple weeks when we come back here to Daytona, we'll be racing just as good, and maybe we'll have a few more cars running at the end.
Well, thank you for your time, Justin. Go enjoy that $25. Hey, listen, man, you get with me later on. I'll give you my PayPal account. You can just go ahead and forward that over to me, okay?
All right, sounds good.
All right, there he is, folks. The winner of tonight's cash for the Clash for the Cash for the Transervice Cup Series 2021 season, Justin Fuller in that number 51 Personal Comfort Mattresses Ford Mustang. I'm going to throw it back up to Kevin. I believe he's got our second place driver, Nick Cohan.
I do indeed. The Toyota car that reminds me of a peanut butter cup. Nick Cohen, great finish there. Was sliding through the grass. He made it good for us, but unfortunately, one spot short at the finish.
Yeah, Kevin, it was pretty close, wasn't it?
What a race. It was very challenging for you. We watched you. You had your hands full all the way through the car, was slipping sideways. And I don't know how many times we counted that you caught that car tonight, but you seem to have a good strategy to stay up front, try and keep the car clean.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I had my hands full. Before the race, we kind of decided we were just going to hang in the back, and because it's a non-points race, I was like, I don't want to ride in the back, so I just decided to let's just go to the front and try and keep everybody behind us. And I threw some crazy blocks, probably pissed some people off, but that's pretty much what I do every week. So I feel like we ran pretty good up here in the front, and which is good practice for the 500. I also think it's pretty good for not driving this car since November, and I turned only a couple practice laps before this started. So I kind of was learning on the fly there. I don't know how I saved it a couple times there, but yeah, it was good to get this CG Automotive Toyota Camry out front here at the beginning of the year. Kind of a bummer didn't win it, but wasn't really expecting to. So it's good to finish in the top 3, get up here in the booth with you guys at Vidane.
Yeah, take us through that turn 4. You came off, you had Gilliland behind you. You were trying to block him. Here comes the run from Fuller on the outside, and I think you made the choice to move up, and it looks like your downfall is when the two of you got locked together.
Yeah, I kind of screwed up. I shouldn't have went to the outside so early there off of 2. Kind of just gave the 81 and the 51 time to regroup. So that's kind of my fault. I shouldn't have went that early. But this is basically a practice race anyway, so I'm not too hurt about it. But yeah, off of turn 4, I just had to go with whoever had to run, and Justin had to run. I probably could have slid up for a block, but I was probably going to wreck one of these times trying to block. Yeah. No, he wasn't going to lift. So I had to just try and get close to him. I didn't mean to hit him like that. We kind of like net coded, just darted left. I mean, it was kind of weird. We just, as soon as we touched the cars, just turned left. I don't think we hit that hard, but it's not what I was trying to do. But sure was a close finish there. I went back and watched it. It was like 3 wide there, almost to the line. But really nothing I could do. Once they had a run, they got linked back up in 3. I'm like, oh man, I knew I was in trouble there. So like I said, it was a good run. Did everything I could. If I could do it all over again, probably wouldn't have went that early there off of 2, because it's kind of rare you get an opportunity of just you and one car linked together there like that.
No doubt, yeah.
But it was fun though. I hope we put on a good show.
You did. You guys, you know what? They tore a lot of cars up. Everybody behind you looked like they were racing a modified, but you guys made it an interesting finish, and we appreciate that. So, you know what? Anytime you could come out with a chance to win, that's fun in my books, especially for a season opener. So, Nick, CJAuto21.com on the car. Anybody want to say hello to? Give a shout out to?
First, shout out to all my teammates for helping me tonight. I didn't have much motivation tonight, and it was kind of. We got a big snowstorm here. I'm pretty tired. I didn't really feel like driving to Daytona tonight and just locking bumpers, riding around all night. But it actually was a ton of fun. So I'm glad they helped me here and did a lot of good teamwork strategy behind the scenes here during that whole race there. So thanks to all my teammates, Beer Hill Gang. Shout out to my dad who's watching, and all you guys, and Joey for putting everything together.
Yep, Joey Jatina, our leader and mentor. He's doing the broadcast tonight.
Godfather.
I'm sure he appreciates that. So thanks, Nix, for that. And yeah, you did the Mario Andretti Nazareth, Pennsylvania thing proud. Good job tonight.
Yeah.
And we'll come back and get our thoughts of the race. We'll first turn to Jason. It was pretty exciting. A lot of action for you down there on pit road.
Yeah, it definitely was. I had my notebook out and I'm just kind of taking some notes here on how the cars were handling paired up and in the draft and out of the draft. Today, before this clash, we'd had our qualifying session and I brought the 83 kick-ass beef jerky car and 6 starting positions. So next week, Monday, I'll be in the second race, starting third. And I took a lot of great things out of tonight's race. So I'm looking forward to getting the season underway, as I'm eager to start racing here every Monday night with some of the best. I mean, like John pointed out tonight, this clash, all these guys that made that race tonight, they earned it. I mean, and we have some really good drivers besides the best of the best. So tonight, you've seen all these guys give it everything they had. They went for that $25 because all these guys have won races. They know how to win. They know what it's going to take to win. So that's why you've seen a lot of aggressive driving tonight, but it was great driving. So I'm excited for the season. And
Yep,
I know you guys
we know that we'll see some good action out of you this season, as you're always up front. Thanks for joining us here tonight, Jason. Your impressions, John?
My impressions are the same they've always been since my first day running with the Sim500 League. These are some of the best drivers out there in the sim world, and tonight they showed it. Some great hard driving, hard racing, action packed. It was not a snooze fest any way, stretch of the imagination. I loved it, and I'm ready for the season to get started.
Yep, I would echo those sentiments. I just love seeing cars going around the track again. I'm looking forward to the real world races starting up again. I enjoyed watching the 24 hours and certainly enjoyed tonight's race here on Sim500. It's a good time to tell you that this copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of Sim500 Broadcasting. Sim500 would like to thank you, all our loyal viewers, and we hope that you enjoyed today's broadcast. For Joey Jatina out in the booth, Jason Barham, and John Mustin Jr., I'm Kevin England. I want to say thanks for watching. We'll see you again next Monday for the Sim500 2021 Transervice Cup Series on Sim500 Esports.
What's one of the biggest challenges of managing a fleet of trucks, tractor trailers, and material handling equipment? Hassling with maintenance, repair, and vehicle breakdown. Transervice's dedicated contract maintenance service, DCM, takes that hassle away. We maintain your fleet, no matter what the configuration, to the highest standards, while giving you the greatest cost control. We offer preventative maintenance executed to maximum utilization, equipment life, and necessary repairs, all tracked by a state-of-the-art paperless computerized system. Assistance with equipment engineering, configuration, including new engine technology, and onboard computers for your fleet, as well as dedicated fleet contract maintenance. Dedicated on-site service facilities staffed with management and certified maintenance technicians, inventories of parts, tires, and fluids, and all necessary shop equipment, diagnostic tools, and technology. Supporting services such as equipment inspections and assistance with meeting regulatory requirements, DOT, OSHA, EPA. Contact us today to learn about our turnkey contract maintenance solutions. It's all about the experience, yours and ours.